It's my pleasure to introduce our very, very special guest, Tom Terwilliger. Yes. Tom is author of the #1 bestseller, 7 Rules of Achievement, and is a leading authority on the science of achievement. That's what we'll be talking about primarily. Tom's unique background is a former Mr. America, but Tom is also, by the way, a longtime Fox Sports Net host, TV show host, and has allowed him this opportunity to reach and impact the lives of hundreds and thousands of people. Tom, sorry about messing up your introduction, but it is such an honor to have you in the studio.
No problem at all. In fact, you gave me a lot more credit than I really deserve, quite frankly. Just the fact that you got the name right on the second try, I gotta tell you, that is what I call leading from within. So thank you so much.
I feel so much better now.
That's good. Well, we're so happy to have you here, and I'm really excited to hear about your book and your approach to achievement and all of that. And what I want to do before we really get into your book, though, is just have you tell us your story.
I guess everybody has a story,
yeah.
huh?
How did you come to be where you are? We've read your bio, and you have a very interesting background.
Yeah, it was, I guess today I coach a lot of people, organizations, and executives, and I've gained the reputation as the achievement mentor, which is again just a little beyond what I would anticipate for myself. But it wasn't always that way. In fact, early on, I'm an identical twin, and my brother and I were diagnosed with some learning disabilities early on. That today is so common. In fact, I've come to learn things like dyslexia, for example. It's just so common. So many more people have had that experience and still live with it and have overcome it in many respects, as I did early on. But at the time, you think you're the only one.
Sure.
You're the only one struggling, and you're the only one who's having that kind of difficulty. And even reaching out in the ways that I reached out, which was sort of being rebellious, being disruptive. My brother and I were always fighting, even in 3rd and 4th grade or so, when it was really finally diagnosed. And from there, they didn't know what to do. School doesn't know what to do with 2 young guys that are that rebellious and having learning disabilities, so they put us in the special ed class. And from there, you could imagine, there was all sorts of ramifications with that. Yes, the learning did continue, but one of the things that I learned was that I'm not good enough. One of the things that I learned was that I'm not like everyone else. I'm different. And quite honestly, this disempowering belief, a lot like what Skip was talking about, was I'm stupid. Mm-hmm. And as Freud said, we'll always manifest into our lives what it is that we believe about ourselves or the world. And I began to manifest that belief in my life. Number one, that I'm different than anyone else, not in a good way, but also that I'm stupid. I'm not as good as anyone else. I got my first Harley Davidson. It was a chopper. It was a 1954 Panhead. And I rebuilt that, and I got that, I guess it was in 10th grade in high school. And you can imagine there aren't too many guys riding around on Harleys in 10th grade, so I didn't have anybody to ride with. And really, there's only one thing that sounds better than a Harley. That's many Harleys together.
Yeah, really.
So along with that desire and that feeling of power that I got from being on the motorcycle, being this guy who was different and this kind of rebellious Marlon Brando type, you might say, along with that disempowering belief that I'm not good enough and I'm different than anyone else and I'm stupid, I began seeking out those who I believe sort of fit in that same category. I soon found out that they didn't necessarily, but I started riding with a couple of different outlaw bike club members from the Hells Angels and from the Pagans in Long Island and Manhattan. And I did that for about 5 years or so. And it was a relatively abusive lifestyle, I can tell you that.
Like
Yeah, it really tore up my body and tore up my liver
Mm-hmm.
and reinforced a lot of those beliefs because I felt like I fit in there. I felt like this was where I felt some power, some control. I felt at home and comfortable. And I also felt a brotherhood. There's something about the biker community, particularly at that level, that you feel there's a real camaraderie and a brotherhood that I had never experienced really any other time in my life, except for my own brother, Mike, my twin brother. So I was really compelled to continue through that lifestyle. And really, it was a profound experience that sort of solidified something that was kind of going on in the back of my mind, which was maybe I am more than this. Maybe I can do better than this. Maybe there is something beyond this lifestyle, this 1%er lifestyle. And it came to a head one night at the Pagan Clubhouse. And where, the clubhouse was just this old warehouse, and the bar, we were at the bar, and it was this rickety old bar that was kind of held together with duct tape and glue, and it was old 2x4s and plywood. I mean, this place was a mess. It was just an old warehouse with some posters hung up. That was the clubhouse, Today, I think they've got a little bit better digs, you might say. I don't know, but this was a mess. And I remember I was leaning against the bar and looking around, and I'm thinking to myself, I can remember distinctly the thoughts thinking, is this what I've become or what I'm becoming? And as I started looking around at the club members and who I wanted to be and who I thought I wanted to be, and something came into my head. And really, today I know, I thought it was maybe with my unconscious mind or somebody speaking to me, but it was God sending me a message. And it said that you're done, walk away. And I mean, it came in loud and clear. The second time I heard it, I looked around. I thought somebody was whispering, somebody was talking to me, and I must have looked like a boxer, who'd been knocked out and just woke up to hear the referee saying, 9-10, you're out. I mean, I must have looked dumbfounded because I couldn't understand where it was coming from at that time. But I had to listen. It was so compelling that there was no way I could ignore this voice. And I know we've all heard ourselves say we can do better, we can do more, we should walk away from this, we don't need this any longer, whatever it might be, and we tend to ignore it a lot. I did for years, but this voice was so compelling I had to walk away. And as I was walking away, I was walking towards the door, and I'll never forget it. And it just, when I bring it back in my mind, it's as if it happened yesterday. I turned back to look at the bar, and as I did, someone must have shoved against the bar and knocked from the back shelf behind the bar, knocked over this double-barrel sawed-off shotgun that was cocked and loaded, ready to go. And as it hit the ground, both barrels went off. And it went through the exact spot that I had vacated just seconds before that.
Holy cow.
And blew about a 10-inch hole through the bar. Glass, wood, shotgun pellets just spread through the place like a swarm of angry bees. The place erupted. No one knew what would happen. I just stood there staring. I couldn't even move. I could not move. Because the only thought that was going through my mind was that would have been me standing there had I not moved at that moment. So the lesson for me was, this is it. You've made the decision. There's no going back. There's no turning back now.